This is the Indus Valley, home to some of the oldest civilizations, oldest artwork, and oldest religions in the world. Religions that sprouted in the Indus Valley relied heavily on the use of symbols and deities to converse with an illiterate audience. The importance of these icons did not only lie in their otherworldly appearance, it was the non-verbal system of communication that made connecting to these deities possible. In performance and static art, gestures, especially those made with the hands, took on a special significance. These gestures became known as mudra. Once Buddhism began to flower in the Indus Valley, artists took advantage of the pre-established notions of the mudra and superimposed them onto forms of the Buddha to convey their religious and visual canon so that an unconverted populace could identify with the new religion. The earliest pieces of Buddhist art depict the life of what was to become the Enlightened One, just without the body of Shakyamuni himself. It wasn't until around the 2nd century CE that depictions of the Buddha appeared. It was during this era that Mahayana and Theravada Buddhism split into distinct sects after the 4th Buddhist Council of King Kanishka, the regal figure opposite Buddha on the coin. Mahayana Buddhism placed a huge amount of emphasis on the laity. Therefore, there was an increased reliance on the Buddha figure and mudra to convey the biography and teachings of the religion to a new demographic of worshippers. Iconography began pouring out of Gandhara and Mathura. The Dharma chakra, mudra, became conflated with the turning of the Dharma, Buddha's first sermon at Deer Park in Benares. The Bhumi Sparsha mudra came to represent Shakyamuni's enlightenment underneath the Bodhi tree, and the Dhyana mudra came to signify meditation. In this new context, mudra became miniature gospels used to propagate the Dharma. The Gandhara region was an ancient center of commerce, and from its borders, Mahayana Buddhism began to spread via trade routes to the east. The seeds of what would become the most popular sect of Buddhism in Heian era Japan left Gandhara in what were known as the Pure Land Sutras. These sutras contended that anyone, monks and laity alike, could achieve enlightenment through salvation. In Japan, these mudra made this salvation seem attainable. The gestures of these surreal Buddhas again made them relatable and offered followers a path to release from samsara. In the words of Carl Becker, Buddhist sculptures began to gesticulate. They wave their hands up and down, hold pots, ropes, and flowers, make mystic circles, and scratch their chins. The postures of the sculptures bring them to life and draw in the viewer. Pure Land Buddhism alone has 10 distinct, scripturally approved mudra, 9 of them mirroring the 9 classes of Amitas. Each is a slight variation on either the Dharma Chakra, Vitarka, or Dhyana Mudra. When we include other Buddhist sects, that number swells to well over 100, and they promise everything from expedited salvation to safe travel or healing. The once canonical focus of the mudra shifted to a cure-all for the challenges of physical life. Mudra have stood the test of time. They are an effective symbolic language that communicates concepts wordlessly. It should come as no surprise then that as Buddhism traversed the Pacific Ocean to the United States, the mudra followed. Eventually, in this new Western context, profiteers were able to appropriate Buddhist symbols, especially the mudra, and use them in an ornamental manner. They now appear on jewelry, sculpture, t-shirts, and even coffee mugs. When looking at Buddhist commercial art, it is clear that the mudra are still meant to represent something. But do they still carry the same spiritual significance? Or have they begun to merely become an exotic oriental kitsch art kept for aesthetic beauty without spiritual understanding? And how much of the mudra's meaning is dependent on context? What happens to the relationship between the figure and the meaning when the context shifts? Or is there an essential form? This is undoubtedly a mudra, but what about now? How about now? When is its impact lost?